show. Just going to talk about these a bit of news that's happened in the last day or so, couple of days. Chinese warships have been seen off Sydney's coast. This is from the Sydney Morning Herald, the racist settler colonial newspaper mouthpiece for billionaires. So basically, it's an opinion of a moron who's basically, well, he's some kind of talking head journalist, so-called journalist, for the Sydney Morning Herald. So, I'm going to take his opinion as a load of garbage. And it kind of is. Because what's happening is that this is a massive cope. But let's get into the story. And he's saying, not since the Japanese attacks on Newcastle and inside Sydney Harbour over the period of May 31st to June 8th, 1942, has the nation faced the prospect of an aggressive threat against our shores and our shipping, as the one we have witnessed in the past 24 hours. The past day has seen a live fire exercise by a Chinese Navy task group off Sydney. It is the most brazen deployment of the People's Liberation Army Navy into the waters adjacent to Australia. Why have they done this, and why now? The most obvious reason for the Chinese deployment at the live fire event is to point out that if Australia conducts freedom of navigation exercises off the East Coast, China can and will reciprocate. But unlike China, Australia doesn't have a 9-dot line beyond the 12-mile blah, 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 cope, 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 cope. That's what this is, basically. Yeah, you can't do this. We're white people. Fact is that Australia is not a world power. Sorry to hurt Oz-peeled dickheads who sing Waltzing Matilda. Neo-Nazi scum who sing Waltzing Matilda. By the way, most swagmen were Aboriginal. Just FYI. Because they were the bottom of the socio-economic class. So they're just the dumbest idiots on the planet. Anyway, this is all cope, because Australia is not a world power. Sorry to break it to you. News flash. And yeah, the irony is not lost on me as an Indigenous man. I'll just say that, shall I? The irony is not lost on me of how they're crying the cope. It is so funny to see all these Anzac idiots, all these crying Anzac losers are learning the cold hard truth of the matter is that the West is crumbling because America's Nazi now. No one wants to say it. No one's saying it in the Western media. No one's saying it in general life. No one will talk about how Elon Musk and now Steve Bannon, sloppy Steve, um, he's doing a Nazi salute now at the CPAC, and Elon Musk is, being Father of the Year by shitting on his ex Grimes, and he's a little Nazi rich white bitch, and couldn't happen to a nicer person. And Elon Musk walked around with his human shield kid. And yeah, that interview, that press conference with Elon Musk and Donald Trump and his kid, and now he's just had another kid with some right-wing broodmare. So I guess that's it. The West is a fucking joke. No doubt. If you don't believe me, check this out.
After the speech of Vice President Vance on Friday, we have to fear that our common value base is not that common anymore. I'm very grateful to all those European politicians that spoke out and reaffirmed the values and principles that they are defending. No one did this better than President Zelensky. Let me conclude, and this becomes difficult.
Can I greet those people? As an Aboriginal man, it's great to see. I didn't think it would happen in my lifetime, but the West is grumbling, and Trump and Elon, Gog and Magog, are hastening that demise. And this is the real reason. This right here, the fall of NATO, is what's going on. What is it? What's AUKUS now? Nothing. And that's why China went to did this live firing exercise. So what this idiot is saying is all a massive cope. It's all bullshit. What do you think? You think that like NATO crumbles, Trump goes directly to Russia and just cuts out Europe and Ukraine, and it just goes to show that Ukraine was not fighting with Russia. The US was fighting with Russia. So the two warring parties are now having a peace conference, and NATO is dead, and therefore AUKUS is dead. And this is what the white racist Australian media won't tell you. They're going to live in this delusion, basically not to panic the population, that you will live in this dream fantasy land that Australia is some kind of world power. It's not a fucking world power. It's a colonial settler convict outpost. Now, first of the British Empire, but now currently owned by the US Empire. The US Empire is fucked. It's a joke. basically. It has got a lot of power and it's still very potent. But everyone can see that it's on its way out. And it's losing its influence, and it's losing it fast because basically it's shuttering up the doors and windows on US empire and kicking out all the brown people. And now it's just becoming idiocracy with fascist characteristics. That's what's happening. That's the truth of the matter. And yeah, Australia, you're going to have to decide. Basically, your only way out is to sign a treaty with the indigenous people of this land and throw off that mantle of the settler colonial convict colony and stop trying to hitch your wagon to empires. You fucking idiots.